There is maybe the main piece. We're still waiting, thinking there's no way this is going to end well for Edmonton, but still at least expecting 2 or 3 other things, I think, to go back the other way. And then when that didn't happen, it's like, wow.
Yeah, you're thinking, okay, there's going to be maybe a first-round pick, or, geez, I'm not that familiar with the Devils farm system, but they've got to have a prospect or two that would maybe be going there. And then you suddenly saw the tweet go out saying it is a one-for-one deal. That is the entire deal. And, man, it was a hard one to figure. And you talked about how fast it came in. That was the funny thing, because I'm constantly, I've written a ton about trades. I'm a trade guy. I'm a trade junkie. I love it when it happens now. I love looking back at the history of it. I sent a tweet out, and I said, I have been following NHL trades for 30 years, and I cannot think of another one-for-one trade I've ever seen that was as lopsided as this one. And, that was true. That was 30 years of my observations in one tweet. And 7 minutes later, the PK Subban trade comes down. And I've got people going, do you care to revise your opinion on that one? And, I'm sitting there going, yeah, I might have to. A new contender, they've earned 30 years between, and we get 2 in 7 minutes.
A new contender has emerged, is right. Sean McIndoe here on WGR. Sean, do we know really what Edmonton was thinking here?
You know what? I've gone back and forth on this, and here's where I'm at. This is clearly a bad trade for the Edmonton. I mean, they gave up one of the very best players in the league in his position. The very best left winger in the entire league. A guy who is still young, still in his prime, still on a very team-friendly contract, and under whatever statistics you like to look at, is clearly one of the very best in the league. Despite the fact he's playing on a lousy team. And they gave that guy up to get a defenseman who is really not even a proven top pairing guy at this point in his career. And, Adam Larson is one of those guys where sometimes you see this happen, a guy gets drafted high and then doesn't really do anything in his first few years, and he sort of just gets stuck in your mind as a prospect. And then all of a sudden you look and you realize, okay, Adam Larson, he's a pretty good prospect. Wait, he's got to be, 19, 20? Then you find out he's 23 years old. He's at the point where he should be doing more in his career development-wise than he has. So, this is clearly a bad trade for Edmonton. I don't think you can defend it just on in terms of value out versus value in. But to answer your question, do we know what they're thinking? Yeah, we kind of do. I mean, that's what's interesting about this is, as bad as the trade looks on paper, I think it's pretty straightforward to see what the thought process here is, which is that the Edmonton have needed a defenseman, a top-pairing guy, forever. And we've been waiting for this trade for so long. They've stockpiled all this amazing talent up front, young talent, via the draft, all the high picks. They didn't have that guy on the blue line, and we knew that they needed. We've been waiting for them to make some sort of deal that would be along these lines, and clearly, apparently, this is the very best they can do. I'm sure Peter Chiarelli shopped it around. I'm sure every GM in the league who had a defenseman available knew to call the Edmonton Oilers. And this may have just been the best deal that was out there. I mean, it does get to a point where you say, okay, do we take a trade where we know we're taking a big loss in terms of value, or do we do nothing and risk maybe going into yet another season without having, this unbalanced lineup with everyone's up front and nobody's back there, and it's maybe another lost season. That's a really tough position for a GM to be in. And I guess at the end of the day, Peter Chiarelli decided he just had to bite the bullet and make the deal he needed to make, even if it was coming with way too high of a price.
Yeah, I mean, the best you could do might make a lot of sense. I mean, we were hearing here this morning, if not last night, that Edmonton was looking for Rasmus Ristolainen from Buffalo for Taylor Hall, and I think most, if not almost all Sabres fans would have gone, yeah, Taylor Hall's really good, but no. Like, I've got, but the thing about that is, like, Ristolainen, I don't think this is any kind of a Buffalo bias. He either already is or is definitely tracking towards being a number one, and I'm not sure you can say the same thing about Adam Larson.
No, I mean, he's a better asset than Adam Larson. And look, there have been any number of defensemen who've been linked to the Oilers over years and over the last few weeks leading up to this. Who knows which ones were actually in play and which ones weren't, but we heard Cam Fowler, we heard Kevin Shattenkirk, we heard PK Subban being a guy that they might be looking at. And, I think we're surprised at both ends, because we're surprised that they settled for an Adam Larson because they again, this is no knock on the kid. He's still got room to develop. He's still a good player. But he is not anywhere near the caliber of guy that we thought they were looking for, that surefire, top-pairing guy, pencil him in the lineup for the next 5 years, and there's no doubt about it. And that's not what they got. And then you look at Taylor Hall, like I wrote today, Taylor Hall was, whenever these discussions came up, usually it was Jordan Eberle or Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and guys like that. Taylor Hall was the trump card. Taylor Hall was the ace in the hole that you could play if it really came down to it, and this is the only way that you could get the guy. You had Taylor Hall. You didn't want to play that card, but you could if you needed to. It was kind of the one arrow in your quiver that you could hit a bullseye if you decided to use it. And at the end, Peter Chiarelli reached in and went that route, and he really didn't wind up getting that much. And again, Peter Chiarelli he's a smart guy. He's not doing this because there were better options on the table. He just didn't think to absolutely pursue them. I'm sure they looked at everything, and maybe this is just what the market is. Maybe the market for defensemen is really unbalanced right now. But all of that said, this really stings if you're an Oilers fan, especially given everything they've been through in the last decade. To see a move like this, man, this hurts.
Sean McIndoe with us at Down Goes Brown on Twitter. Mike Shopin, the Bulldog, out at Willowbrook Beverage today on WGR. Certainly don't want to ignore Subban, but I want to hear from you really on Stamkos here, Sean, and whether you think what happened with him yesterday makes sense.
It was a bit of a head-scratcher only in terms of timing, like you guys were saying. That a year ago, we were all saying, Steve Stamkos is going to stay. He's going to sign. We're always, but we do this every year. We look ahead a year to July 1st and say, this guy's going to be a free agent, that guy's going to be a free agent, and then it never happens. The guy's always signing. I was one of those guys who was saying all along, Steve Stamkos, he's going to sign, he's going to sign. So we got about halfway through the season, and you're thinking, like, yeah, there's probably something up there, because if he hasn't got the extension worked out, clearly he wants to get to the agency, and in a sense, he never technically did, but he did get to the point where he could talk out of his team, he could give them extensions and hear what they had to offer and what their vision was, and maybe that's what it was all along. Maybe he just wanted to hear that, and that would confirm to him that Tampa was the right place, or maybe he thought he was going somewhere else and he heard something he didn't like. I mean, we'll probably never get that real story, but I mean, if this deal had been signed last summer or in training camp or even midway through the year, I don't think anyone would bat an eye, but the fact that it happened 48 hours before everybody could start backing up the bank truck into his driveway and dumping the piles of money on him, that was the only part that struck me as a little strange.
Have you